Have we published any recordings of this yet?
Not yet.
Well, we should. Hello, everyone. This is the SDK Developer Community Call, October 17th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My name is Hans. I'm a developer advocate for Cosmos, and we're waiting for more people to show up. Peter, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Peter. I help out with community and partnerships. Welcome, everyone.
Lino, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
I think maybe they need to log back in.
Hello, Hans and Peter.
Oh,
there we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
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 How are you guys?
Good. Can you introduce yourselves real quick? We're going to record this and publish it.
Sure.
Oh, cool.
So have a short introduction of ourselves.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, guys. This is Rikai and Zhimao and Yumin. So we are from Lino network. Yeah. So we are trying to build like a decentralized content economy on our Lino blockchain, and it is based on Cosmos SDK. Yeah.
All right. And
Awesome.
we're excited to use your product in a couple weeks.
Do you like it?
Yeah. Well, during SF Blockchain Week or during the DeFi Hackathon, we want to have Christine use DLive. So.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So, Hans, if you don't see anybody else.
Yeah. It looks like this week is going to be pretty thin. So I can just kind of run through what's on the agenda, and then we can dive into the supply module and module accounts and call it a day. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay, so here, I'll share my screen. Whatever happens to be on it. Oh, there's that one. Can you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so 3 big things happened in the SDK kind of in the past 2 weeks. The first one is this idea of a modular anti-handler. So up until now, there was just a single anti-handler that came from the auth module that sort of ran at the beginning and calculated gas and fees. Now there's a whole anti-decorator structure with a series of different decorators that you can then, almost like set order begin blocker and set order end blocker, you can set the order of your decorators and then run them. And rather than having to write an entire anti-handler, you can just each modules can have their own custom anti-decorators. So here's the pull request. Aditya wrote it. It's merged in. And you can see more of an architecture overview in this ADR 10, where they talk about how it works. I didn't have a lot to do with this feature, so I'm afraid I don't have too much context. It's not, I don't think it's breaking. I think it's something that you can choose to extend in your app. Then we have another pull request that came in from the Kava team, who's not here today. But what they did was they pulled vesting and auth. Vesting was like coupled with the auth module. These guys decoupled those. So now it's introduced its own, actually a new type of vesting as well. It's now like a more flexible sort of decoupled architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So those were both interesting. And then the SDK team is now tracking their sprints in a public issue, like a pinned. So if you want to know what the SDK team is focused on and what they're writing, what they're building, these are their milestones. They're public. They're pinned at the top of the SDK issues page. So this is the sprint they're working on now. What they're essentially, so they're trying to sort of publish their priorities and their workflow, and feel free to like comment and give feedback, request something else, and just shout at them to do things differently in however way you see fit. So those are the 3 kind of updates. I'm sorry I don't have more background information on them.
Okay.
Lino, did you guys have any other subjects you wanted to cover other than the module accounts and supply?
No, probably. Oh, one more question, Hank.
Yeah.
Regarding the modular authentication handler, what does those modules really check in those handlers? I mean, like previously, we don't check them because as the signature, as long as the signature is correct, the gas fee can cover the gas, and we will run the transaction, right? No matter whether it will fail or not. So for other modules, I can come up a case that if we like go with the previous setting, what do they need to check?
Well, you know, Aditya, is that you who just joined?
Yeah, I just joined.
Well, that would be super. Thank you, because we were just getting a question about the anti-declarator pattern.
Could it be repeated? I didn't hear it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so the question is, what does those modules usually check in their modular anti-handler? So the background of this question is like, since the transaction, as long as the signature is correct and the gas is provided, no matter how whether this transaction was successful or failed, validator should kind of like execute it and get the just transaction fee, right? I wonder what the other modules will check. Like, what's the purpose of?
Oh, okay, got it. So this isn't about like specific like SDK modules doing anti-decorator checks, so they can. It's more about splitting what was once just in one huge function, like it would do signature checks, fee checking, and gas all in one function, like splitting that into smaller decorators that can then be composed together. But specific modules that want to do extra checking can if they want to. So for example, Ethan Fry has been working on a fee delegation module. And to do that, he has to change how the fees are deducted. So now he can do that by just creating his own like deduct fee, like a custom deduct fee decorator, and then replacing that in the stack rather than having to rewrite the entire anti-handler.
Got it. Got it. Good design. Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. So yeah, you can kind of see here in the changelog how the anti-decorator is split into, and we chain them together, and each one handles like a little piece of probably what the original anti-handler did.
Cool.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's talk about the supply module. You guys are thinking about implementing it in your chain?
We kind of already have something similar already. But we still would like to know how you guys handle this part.
Okay. Well, I'll try my best, and Aditya, you could interrupt when I get things wrong. Or essentially just as like an overview. Oh, screen sharing is paused. No share. There. If I switch. Oh, weird. Okay. New share. iTerm share. There we go. So looking at Gaia, you can see sort of how the supply module is not implemented, but used here. It's a module alongside the others, passed into the manager. and then its keeper is essentially passed to any other keeper that might be moving around coins. So the staking keeper gets a reference to the supply keeper. The distribution keeper gets a reference to the supply keeper. The mint keeper, the slashing keeper, the crisis keeper, and then the supply keeper itself is instantiated with references to the account and bank keeper, as well as the struct of what's called MAC perms, module account permissions. So the supply keeper wraps the account and bank keepers with functions to. So here's the supply keeper bank function, and it provides functions to send coins from a module account to an account address, from a module account to a module account, and then also to delegate coins, which would be kind of moving coins from like a module or from an account address to the bonded pool or the not bonded pool, and the sort of actions that are allowed are defined in this MAC perms. MAC perms, where is it? Here. So it's a struct of module names and then the type of permissions that they're granted. So the mint module obviously is granted a minter permission. Staking, so these module names are really the module account, or the names used for the module accounts. So the bonded pool is a module account, the not bonded pool is a module account, and then gov, mint, distribution. So mint can mint, staking can burn, or staking, which is really to delegate or undelegate. And then the gov module is granted burning permissions.
Question, Hank. So what is the difference between a bonded pool and a not bonded pool?
So essentially, when you delegate your atoms, they enter the bonded pool. And when you undelegate your atoms, they go into the not bonded pool.
Okay.
And
so does this pool kind of like represent the ownership of the coin inside the pool, or it just like stats keeping?
I think
it's just a collection of all the coins that are in the pool, and then you have to on your own determine like how much of that pool is owned by one account or the other.
Got it. So it's more like a bookkeeping place, not kind of like a module account that actually holds those coins, right?
No, it does hold those coins. It's an auth.account account. Exactly.
Oh, got it.
It's like an auth.account account that holds all of the bonded atoms that are in staking will be held by the bonded pool module account. Like the staking keeper has to determine how much of those bonded atoms are owned by one validator or the other. The module account doesn't do it.
Cool.
And Aditya, that tracking of which account owns which bonded tokens, is that done by delegator shares?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So when you delegate your atoms, you're given a set of shares of the atoms delegated to the, or shares to that delegator that you can then redeem back for your atoms. And that's how they track which atoms belong to which person who delegated.
Got it.
Yeah. So any module, if you want to introduce any module that needs these sorts of permissions, this is where you would register their permissions, and then you would pass a reference to the supply keeper to that module's keeper.
Got it. Okay.
Essentially.
Interesting.
So like the gov module burns coins. So it's given the supply keeper so that it can then, since it has the necessary permissions, affect the total supply. And then the supply module itself comes with a querier so that you can query like what's the total supply of a specific denomination of coin, and it just sort of tracks all your coin denominations across all modules and accounts.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you guys have any more questions? How's your chain doing? Have you made any success in the infrastructure level or the developer level with it? Or are you still focused on payment?
So actually everything goes just well, and actually we are almost like finished. So what we need to do is trying to introduce the module account and supply module, because currently we don't have this kind of thing to check all the coins. So actually it is very easily to get lost of how many total supply we have. So that's what we are trying to find out, like how you guys do this kind of things in Cosmos SDK.
Yeah, we end up doing like a very similar things as this one, except for we don't have the permission part. Because like I mean, Cosmos SDK is like a more open to other developers as they might want to add their own module. But for us, it's like we are the end customer. We are the finishing up the stuff, so probably we don't need the permission part. But very similar to your design.
Cool.
Yeah, and hence, you know, I think we're preparing our mainnet. We just post a release. Check it out.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
And also, I think there's one thing, like we're trying to host like validator campaign recently. So actually, if it is possible, I mean, sure, you can contact you guys to see if you guys can help us to give an announcement or something like that, because I think our structure is pretty similar to Cosmos SDK. And I think all validators for Cosmos SDK would be interested in our project.
Yeah. Actually, just chiming in here real quick, I could definitely help with that. If you guys are looking for additional validators, I could with your team to get that information and get it over to you.
Okay.
Yeah, we should definitely coordinate and do some marketing for you guys. And I might be off here, but if you're interested in participating in implementing IBC, we also have this game of zones coming up.
Cool.
That I guess a test net of yours would participate in.
Yeah, but I mean, we are close to the mainnet, and we are very happy to just engage to IBC structure once we move to the mainnet. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you're right. One thing at a time.
Cool. And also, there's one thing, like we may think we may try to restart our Cosmos validator later. So if possible, like we can have some discussion on that to see if we can host a validator, and then we can get some delegations from you guys.
Yeah. That would also be really cool.
Cool. Do you guys have any other questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I think, yeah, we are good with this now.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for calling, and let's be in touch about your mainnet launch.
Sure.
No problem.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you guys on Slack.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you,
Hey
Aditya.
guys, bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.